plot twists within mediums are used as a device to not only divert your growing expectations for specific things, but can also warp and change your perspective based on the experience you've had up to that point. What's great about this device is that the range for it is indefinite, which means the overall usage, scale, impact, and consistency can lead to an endless amount of possibilities with varying results. To take it even a step further, those results will naturally vary between people, as at first it leads in with shock value, but can completely recontextualize everything you know or thought you knew about the narrative prior. Not every story has that, and to be honest, not every story needs it. The more you play on shallow plot twists, the quicker it loses its value and impact. So to avoid that massive problem, and to stop people naturally guessing the plot twist which could have a similar effect, authors hide everything extremely well. They point you in a different direction. They create mysterious interest elsewhere. They consistently trickle in specific information surrounding characters and even the world to keep you focused. An author that has managed to achieve arguably one of the most impactful levels of recontextualization of their own story is none other than Hajime Isayama with Attack on Titan. And I'm sure you're already thinking about the drastic differences between the beginning of the story and where we are now, which if you are is a good thing, because that's what we're going to be diving into. The before, the impact, and the after. We're going to take a closer look at some of the approaches and methods Isayama used to divert our attention elsewhere, all while building two completely different stories that would inevitably intertwine many years later, and completely change, challenge, and question everything we once knew. So, with the opening out of the way, let's start off at the beginning of Attack on Titan, before our perspective was ultimately blown open, and our understanding was insignificant to the scope of the true narrative hiding underneath. One of the first things we open up to within Attack on Titan is none other than the brutality of Titans, and this massively cements our expectation on what the atmosphere of this story is going to be. It doesn't take long for mystery to set in, as even within the first chapter alone, you're somewhat pushed to ask questions. What are these Titans? Why is the city surrounded by walls? Who are these damn children? What helps back these questions and even give them severe consequences that fuel the atmosphere of the story is the Survey Corps. This would be placed as a pillar within the foundation of the narrative, tethering to our main characters later on, but before all of that, it's used as an emotional direction to not only witness the severity of Titans, how to loosely fight them, how to lose against them, but also the effect of the Survey Corps members dying and how it plays into the overall morale of the everyday citizen when they return. Survey Corps members are viewed as soldiers that are one of a kind. People that will push humanity forward by exploration and understanding Titans by first-hand experience. However, it comes at a drastic cost, which is one's life. This perspective we get plays a massive role in understanding the main character, Eren Yeager, who by witnessing them return feels compelled to want to continue in their footsteps, even with the cost. Now you'll probably notice one thing already. There is a lot of contrasting information here, and you would be correct. Even before the first massive event that changes things, Isayama makes sure to not allow you to linger in specific emotions for too long. One moment you're questioning the dangers and origins of Titans, the next you're trying to figure out why the walls are so damn big, but then you're ripped away from those questions, and focusing on citizen morale towards Titans and Eren Yeager specifically. This allows you to easily follow Eren into the upcoming event, which would bring all those questions and even new ones running back. The Colossal Titan and the destruction of the wall. This moment is undoubtedly the iconic event that kickstarted everything. The impact it has on characters, on human life, the fear it produces and the questions it forces into your head. This would be the incredibly strong and emotional starting point for not only the story, but for your focus, as it is an event that's impact lingers all the way up to the actual plot twist of the story. And over the years that it does linger, Isayama makes sure to run off threads from it to keep you tunneled in and paying attention. There's actually two overlooming things that this event does extremely well. The first is it sets the tone and atmosphere while giving the story and characters direction, fear, revenge, power, growth, humanity. The second is that it streamlines into the events of the plot twist. And this is the biggest thing, because as we continue to focus on Eren and his endeavors, we come across Titan anomalies that we connect to the Colossal Titan and the event, such as the female Titan, Ymir, Rodriguez, Beast Titan, and the infamous Armored Titan. All of these things revolve around Eren and his transformation into a Titan. But little would we know while asking these surface level questions that all of these characters bring forward, Isayama would be planning to reveal everything to us, recontextualizing not only the beginning of the story, the event that started all of this, but also every single Titan shifter that Eren has come across to this day. But even before the massive plot twist that would change everything, he brings in a betrayal that would completely blindside us, something that we weren't expecting. When Isayama pulled the trigger on this, our questions started to expand and grow at a ridiculous pace. We were asking questions that we would have never thought of before, and he uses this to his advantage. Because right after this high-strung event that is rapidly changing how we see characters and situations, we get the reveal that completely changes our understanding of the story. Attack on Titan would not be viewed the same way, as Hajime Isayama would start to reveal the other side of his story that has been there since the very beginning, known as Marley. Marley's introduction opens up literally everything, from the world to the narrative, the knowledge surrounding Titans, and even existing characters. But the most important thing that it brings forward is history, the history between Eldians and Marleyans. This knowledge of history would be the catalyst to change the story, and more specifically how we view it, all while revealing more depth and layers to the story prior. The things we once focused on because we were curious and the mystery surrounding it was enticing now has a completely new form of context behind it, which actually allows for some rather enjoyable rereading with the current knowledge, as how you view the beginning of the story will now be completely different. The context for events and character interactions and reveals all have a whole new purpose. Even though the beauty of the twist changes everything we once knew, it also pushes the story into a completely different direction, which can also be looked at as its true direction. With this, we open up to drastically different concepts that obviously haven't been played upon, but they won't feel unfamiliar, because the beginning of the story manages to implement the simple versions of these concepts. Eren Yeager's revenge, humanity moving forward, political change. Using these as guidelines, we also tether back to them and open them up drastically, changing the point of view and evolving it to continue down the new set path of expanding history and Marley. Because of how seamless the transition between these concepts are, within a blink of an eye, Attack on Titan has gone from secluded humans versus man-eating titans to political warfare, racism, segregation, the cycle of hatred between Marleyans and Eldians. This all comes at the cost of history and learning about it, as we learn new things about the past, how much hatred there is between both people, and even how the origin of Titans came to existence. When you look back at the entirety of Attack on Titan, from where we started with Eren Yeager to where we are now, it almost seems like two completely different stories. Hajime Isayama has managed to divert everyone's expectations, keeping us focused on specific things completely unrelated, all while he continues to craft and build a completely new story underneath that I don't think anyone would have ever expected. What's even more incredible is how he transitioned both stories into one another so seamlessly. Marley never felt like it came out of nowhere. The change in narrative wasn't off-putting or misplaced. Pulling something like this off isn't an easy feat. It comes with meticulously setting so many things underneath the surface that readers won't understand or even comprehend until the time is right, until he chooses. Which is the reason why it feels so familiar, which is the reason why it works so well. Without a doubt, Hajime Isayama has perfectly recontextualized Attack on Titan for all of its readers. The meaning has shifted. The weight and impact behind it has shifted. This no longer just involves Marleyans and Eldians even. It involves the entirety of the world, as it continues even now to expand and open up to many different possibilities, from its potential mythology to the origins of the original Ymir, the creations of Titan, and the massive references to Norse mythology. This only comes with knowing your narrative in and out and the future for it. This may sound like an obvious thing, but you'd be surprised how many plot twists fall flat or worse, completely break stories because they aren't factored in from the beginning. The quickest way to completely break your own story, even with everything it may have offered, is by implementing a narrative changing twist that is only thought of within the moment and hasn't been considered from the start. It's not impossible that way, but it is extremely difficult and can easily be fickle. It makes what Isayama has done even more impressive with his scope and overall scale. It's a beautiful thing to not only witness but also experience. Thus, I have to wholeheartedly thank him for giving us such a methodical, thought-provoking, and emotional roller coaster that is none other than Attack on Titan. In conclusion, AOT's plot twist for me has to be one of the biggest and well thought out narrative changing experience. It really is unfathomable how much the story has changed and evolved to tackle so many topics of discussion that even parallel to our own politics and humanity today. I would absolutely love to know how you all feel about AOT's change in story, its plot twist, and where we are currently within it. I know a lot of you will have some very interesting perspectives and takes on the topics at hand, so don't be shy and fire away. I love going through and reading how people felt within these moments and how emotional it potentially made you feel. With all of that being said, let me know how you feel about Attack on Titan's implementation of a plot twist. And does it compete with even some of the twists from your own favorite stories? I'd love to hear your thoughts. But I want to thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Drink plenty of water, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.